My name is Dorothy Cois, and on behalf of my siblings, I sincerely thank each one of you for your presence here today, especially those who have travelled distances. Because you are here, Dad has touched your life in some way. Dad gave us clear instructions about his send-off, so today is celebrated in accordance with his wishes. This place was very special to Dad. Every Sunday at this time, he would be out here flying planes, meeting up with friends, and thoroughly enjoying himself. He was always very passionate about anything associated with flying. This passion began when he first flew a tiger moth in his youth. Later, he flew solo in an ultralight over our homes. Our brother Anthony and Dad founded the Dalkey Aero Club about 15 years ago, which not only fulfilled their love of flying, but also offered others an opportunity to learn, albeit using smaller crafts. Whenever you visited Dad and Aunt, trust me, you needed to be careful where you walked, as a variety of planes would be in all states of construction and repair throughout the house. The bachelor's dream. Dad was an intelligent, kind, patient man who had a strong work ethic. He was born to Italian immigrant parents, and English was his second language. During the war, when Dad was at school, it was recommended that his name needed to sound more Australian. Henceforth, Remo Giacomo had become known as Raymond James. Luckily, the Cois name didn't sound foreign. It wasn't until he was in his 40s that Dad finally made the trip to Italy to meet his family. He made subsequent trips, and in turn, some came to visit him here. His family in Friuli remained close to Dad, and today they are with us in their love and thoughts. I have 2 eulogies sent from Italy. Dear Remo, all cousins and friends of Friuli and Veneto remember you with affection. We remember the first time you came to Friuli and you kissed the earth where your parents were born. We remember your strong desire to speak in Friulan and the long chats and glasses of vino interspersed with your anyway. Your uncle Alberto always told us that he had a brother who had gone to live in a faraway land where the leaves never fall. We were all curious to know that land and the cousins who lived there. Thanks to you and your cousin Luciano, we got to know Australia, Naomi, your children, relatives and friends. Thanks, Remo, for letting us spend beautiful days like the trip in the desert with your Toyota. Almas, you called her in Friulan. Dear Remo, know that the bond that you and Luciano have built between Italy and Australia will continue through your children and your grandchildren, who will always be welcomed with love by us here in Italy. Mandi Remo, from Flavia, Oscar and family. And the second, despite the huge distance that has separated us, Remo, you always knew how to be near us. You never missed a chance to mention during his visits to Italy and on video calls the value of his family and his love for Friuli, his native family land. Remo was always a kind person, enthusiastic for life and thankful for his family. He has fought his health problems as only he could, because he used to say, "Un cois no molle mai." That means a Cois never gives up. We are very honoured that we got the chance to know you and proud to call you family. With our hearts full of love, Mandi Remo, and as he would say, Mandi Adu. That's from Roberta, Danielle, Federico, Alicia, Roberto, Martina, Marco and Lisa. Throughout our lives, Dad was a patient listener who reminded us to look on the bright side of the situation. In particular, I remember a time when I shared a grievance with Dad many years ago, and he listened carefully and said, "Donna, right now you can't see the forest for the trees, but time will show you." He was right, and that little quote has remained a little pearl for me. As children, we were lucky to have a loving dad. When he came home from work, working hard till dark, he would scoop us up and make us laugh. Never once did we ever hear him say that he was too tired for us. Another little example of his parenting style was whenever we had a splinter in our foot, which was frequent as we were on the farm and being barefoot was the norm. Dad would light a match under a needle until the tip went red to white, during which the poor recipient would be screaming blue murder. Dad would calmly place the child's hand on his head and say, "Now grab Daddy's hair and pull as hard as you can if I hurt you." The splinters were deftly removed, but I wonder if all that splinter business had anything to do with Dad's balls later on in life. Dad's instilled in us many lifelong attributes, and just to name a few: reading, learning, working hard, a love of nature, especially birds, respecting another's property, and being optimistic. Oh, and we are all addicted to cryptic crosswords as well. For many years, Dad volunteered his services in the Tully Coast Guard, Cardwell Meals on Wheels, and he participated in many community fundraising events. I remember when he was well into his 70s serving drinks every Friday night at the Cardwell RSL. He enjoyed these activities immensely as he loved the social aspect. Dad got on well with elderly and the young. He had a wonderful group of mates who over many years would take turns meeting up at each other's homes for morning tea. Sadly, as the years have passed, so too have its members. Only his dear mate John remains. However, I'm sure John will continue to keep up the ritual with a cuppa and a yarn every Saturday at Aunt's, because Anthony would love it too. Dad was fortunate to be nunu to 7 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren, almost 12, all of whom he loved. Dad was not a religious man. However, he ensured each of us was baptised and sent us to St Clair's Catholic School. During a discussion about this day, I asked Dad if I could include a prayer, and he said yes. So I've just chosen the 23rd Psalm, which I also read to Dad just a couple of weeks ago. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. For even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Today, Remo Giacomo, we commend you to the Lord to rest peacefully. Amen." If anyone would like to say a few words, you're very, very welcome to. If anyone has got a little memory they'd like to share. Don't feel pressured, but if you would like.
I'd just like to confirm that what Dorothy said about Ray. He was a Meals on Wheels volunteer for 16 years in Cardwell, and you could call on him at any time, and he was always available, even though he might grab Anthony and make him do it too, but he was always available. And Ray was on our committee for 12 years, and he was a really good committee member because he would get involved in whatever we were doing. And also was fantastic for Bev and I because we would have to go on trips out of town. Ray was always quite happy to come with us on the trips and sit there. Most of the times in those days there might only be one other man in a Meals on Wheels group, but he enjoyed it because, as we all know, he liked the ladies. And I have to admit that the ladies all liked him because he used to do, when he would do his meal delivery, you would always find him at video with whoever he delivered with, and it had to be a lady. And he would take them to coffee, so they would always do the run, and then you would find Ray pulling up in the big four-wheel drive, and whoever the lady was slipping out, and he'd take her in and buy a coffee and cake, and they'd sit there for an hour or so and chat. And he absolutely loved that. So, you know, we're going to miss him dearly because he was a wonderful man, Ray. Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I just take this opportunity on behalf of my sisters just to sincerely thank our brother Anthony for his devotion and great effort that he maintained to support Dad during his illness. And with that care and love, Dad was able to pass at home another of his wishes, surrounded by his children. Finally, thank you to those who have helped in some way to make this day possible, especially Dennis, who was a great help to Anthony, and Bob for his support. And there's others too, my son, you know, setting up, bringing the sound equipment. There's so many, and all of you know who you are. So I'll just invite you all to stand now, and we're going to salute and farewell Dad.